Hey everybody, this is Mike from Overground here. This video is going to be showcasing the Imperialdramon deck profile that was featured in the first Learn With Me video that we put up on the channel. I'm not sure if that video has been up yet, but it will be up shortly. The match was between Imperialdramon and Shine Greymon. These were two of the favorite decks that we ended up deciding on after we had fooled around with building a bunch of the meta decks and factored in a bunch of the set 3 spoilers. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Just got a nice little setup here to show off Imperialdramon. We got Davis, we got Ken, we got the boy himself. Unfortunately, it's fighter mode, which is my personal favorite mode of Imperialdramon, but this deck only has dragon mode for the time being, unless we get a spoiler for fighter mode, in which case we might change it. But yeah, so for this deck, I'm going to start off with the babies. So we got 4 of set 3 Demi-Vemon, arguably one of the cutest cards that has been released so far. I love his little tongue. He does a little mlem. And he's really good for the deck because when you're attacking with a Digimon with jamming, you get to draw one. The point of this deck is just kind of go turbo into jammers. So pretty much every form that you're going to be attacking with at any point in time is going to be a jammer. So riding up on top of the Demi-Vemon is really cool because it means that you're always going to generate advantage. And lastly, we're just playing one more Demi-Vemon. Just set 2 Demi-Vemon. Just because we need a 5th baby. So this one here... it's originally designed for the All-Force Digimon deck, and every time a Digimon becomes active during your main phase, it gets plus 1,000 to the end of the turn. The only time that's really going to come up is when we combo with the X-Vemon, but it also comes up with Imperialdramon himself because of his ability to stand all jammers. So we're going to go into the rookies. So we got 4 of the set 3 Vemon. So this, as far as I know, I think is the first rookie that has jamming natively, which is actually really cool. So it's like regular rookies, it's a 0 drop cost, and then it's got jamming. So the good thing about this Vemon is that you can summon it really early on in the game, and you can just slam it against your opponent's security without fear. A lot of the times in games, you won't really attack with a rookie right away unless you could afford to lose the body. But with Vemon, unless you're going up against like Red or something where you're really concerned about like Terraforce, pretty much any Digimon that's in their stack is not going to be able to kill this. So the ability to go in with jamming so early on in the game to just kind of start ripping out security really quickly is actually a really good advantage. So the next rookie is just going to be 4 of the set 2 Gomamon. Again, it's just a 3,000 body, very 2 drop, very cheap. You just need extra rookies in the deck so you can get going. That is going to be paired with 2 of the Elecmon as well. Same stat line, same cost, same everything, vanillas. You're just there to extend your ability to get started with a rookie. And finally, to round them off... Oops. Fell kept too soon. We're going to be playing 4 of the Gabumon. This is the one from set 1. This is just the one played draw one. So this Gabumon's really good, especially if you're going turn 1. You can give your opponent just 3 memory. You get to get an additional +1 off the summon. Again, it's just another 0 drop rookie as well. So that way, if you do need a rookie to start with your turn with, you've got the Gabumon to go on along with. None of these rookies have any inheritable abilities, which is to mention, but that's not that important when you see how the rest of the deck functions. So the first champion I'm going to show is Vidramon. This is the set 2 Vidramon. So this one is that if you have a blue Tamer, it gets jamming. So again, this is going to keep on with the jamming theme. So if you evolve from Vemon into this, you're still keeping that jamming trend. It allows you to keep attacking into your opponent's security without fear for minimal memory investment. And the next champion we're going to play is the X-Vemon from set 3. And this X-Vemon is that when it's digivolved, one of your level 4 or less Digimon becomes active. So this has 2 different combo benefits. The first one is that if you have a Vidramon or Vemon on the field other than the rookie that would theoretically evolve into X-Vemon, you can attack with jamming, evolve into the X-Vemon on the other rookie, then that would stand the jammer that you just attacked with, allowing you to attack again, basically, again, fearlessly because you've got jamming. The other thing it can do is that if it evolves on top of a jammer itself, it gets you a free second attack in the same turn right away, but the X-Vemon himself is not a jammer, so you just have to be careful about how you play with him. So that's it for the champions, other than the blockers. So we just got the 4 Grizzlymon. Not much to really say there. So now we're going to move into the ultimates. So there's only 8 ultimates in the deck, and they're basically the same. So there's 4 Imperialdramon. I'll just move him over. And then we got Dinobemon, which is like opposite Imperialdramon. So these guys are, again, they're pretty much the same. They're both 7,000 3-drops. They both serve different purposes depending on what state of the game you're in, because this is going to be what you step into your Imperialdramons with. So depending on where you are in the game is going to determine which ultimate you're actually going to drop first. So Imperialdramon, for example, it has jamming natively, and its inheritable effect is that when it attacks, if its name contains Imperialdramon, it becomes active. So what this allows you to do is basically, so the regular combo normally, I'm going to spoil the Imperialdramon here, as if you didn't know he was coming. You would usually attack with one of your ultimates, and then you would drop Imperialdramon immediately on one of them, and then because of Imperialdramon's effect, all jammers immediately become active again. So what this allows you to do is allows you to get a 1-2 punch. With Imperialdramon, allows you to attack an extra time. So you go Imperialdramon, attack, and then you put it, Imperialdramon attacks, Imperialdramon goes on top of Imperialdramon stands, then you can attack again with Imperialdramon. With Imperialdramon as the source, it allows you to untap Imperialdramon again, which basically gets 3 attacks in a row for a 3 memory investment. Alternatively, if you're facing down a lot of blockers, that's when I would recommend going into Dinobemon instead. Dinobemon has piercing natively as well as jamming. So what the Dinobemon brings to the table instead is that you can attack if your opponent has a blocker. That way, even if they decide to block, they're still going to lose that security due to the piercing. And then you can put Imperialdramon down, restand it, and then attack again for an extra security check. So basically, like I said, it just depends on the game state. So if also, depending on how further ahead your opponent is than you, Dinobemon might be a better choice, because you might want to go in and attack a specific Digimon so that they can evolve on top of that later on in the game, or if they have an extra body that might be threatening you for game, depending on where your security is. And then Imperialdramon is just if you want to go straight aggro, if you want to close out the game a little bit sooner. So that's it for the ultimates. For the megas, there's only the 4, and it's just Imperialdramon. So we already kind of discussed Imperialdramon at length when we discussed the ultimates, but I'll go over it again real quick. So Imperialdramon has 2 main effects. When it digivolves from Imperialdramon or Dinobemon, the cost to digivolve it is reduced by 2. So normally it has a 5 cost to digivolve, but if you're going into one of the 2 ultimates that we showed previously, it's actually going to be a 3 cost instead. And because those are the only ultimates we're playing, you're never going to be evolving Imperialdramon at anything else, unless you're hard playing it for 13. Also, Imperialdramon's other effect is that when he's digivolved, all Digimon with jamming become active. Now, as we've already covered, every single level in this deck is a jammer. So Rookie Vmon is a jammer, your Champion Vdramon is a jammer, and then both ultimates, whether it be Imperialdramon or Dinobemon, is also a jammer. So depending on how you've set up your board, usually when you drop Imperialdramon, not only will he make himself active because he is a jammer, it will also make everyone else basically that you play active again, which allows you to keep swinging for the fences. And again, because they're jamming, you're swinging with a lot less fear than you would have otherwise, depending on any other Digimon that you would have normally played. So that's that. So to round off the Digimon list, we're just playing 2 copies of Omnimon. Because Omnimon can evolve on a blue Mega, and Imperialdramon is a blue Mega, you can just drop Omnimon on top. This is just kind of a fallback plan. Usually when you go into Imperialdramon, you can generally close out the game then and there, or at least you're put into a much better situation. Omnimon is just basically a tech choice, and again, he's only at 2 for 2 reasons. A, you can throw him into your security to make a big body that your opponent would have to attack into, and secondly, it gives you spot removal and an extra way to close out the game if your opponent can somehow wall up against the Imperialdramon that you already put on the table. I'm not 100% sure if I'm sold on Omnimon in this deck yet, but it's just a tech that we're trying out for the time being. Now we're going to go into the options. So the options are For Vulcan's Hammer, Vulcan's Hammer is probably one of the best options in the game, in my opinion, other than Terraforce. It's free and it automatically gives you one memory. I'm finding a lot in testing is that Vulcan's Hammer actually can be a way to end your opponent's turn a lot faster as well. With Vulcan's Hammer, when it gets hit in the security, you get 2 memory instead of the 1. And I'm noticing that a lot of testing that I'm doing is that my opponent is trying to choke me out for memory because I basically only need about 3 memory per turn to really get my engine going. And if they can cut me off, usually they'll try to cut me off at like 1 or 2. So what will happen is that it's say they have like 2 memory on their turn and then they go attack and try to, clear out some security before playing like a 3-cost card to put me in 1 and pass the turn. Vulcan's Hammer will actually put them to 0 right away. So now if they do play a 3-cost card, it's going to force me to start the turn with 3, which is actually really cool. Otherwise, if they're leaving their turn at 1 or something before they decide to pass, it actually would end their turn completely. But if you're playing it during your personal main phase, it gives you an extra memory to play with if they decide to choke you out of that 1 or 2 range. And the last 3 options we play are just 3 Ice Wolfclaw. So Ice Wolfclaw basically is the blue equivalent of Terraforce. It's the only real removal option you have in this deck. You just target an opponent's Digimon, you bounce it back to the hand. Yeah. So lastly, the last 3 cards in the deck are Tamers, and we're just going to play 3 Davis. So Davis, it's your standard memory increase tamer. If you've got less than 2, you're going to start the turn with 3. When you play Davis, you get to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you get to add a blue and a green Digimon from what was revealed to your hand. But since Digimon works similar to Pokemon, where every effect is do as much as you can, you'll always at least get 1 if you only reveal blue or only reveal green. The only green Digimon in this deck is Dinobemon, so that's very unlikely that you're going to reveal it, but if you do end up getting a hit off that as well, you get the +2 immediately. So that is it for the Imperialdramon deck. I think it's really fast, it's really consistent, it's really fun. I wouldn't necessarily say it's helmet, but it doesn't require a lot of extra setup or thinking ahead when it comes to playing it. It is very fast and loose in how it kind of drops beaters and how it attacks your opponent's security for very minimal threat level. So you can play this deck very confidently, knowing that it's a very strong contender in what potentially might be the set 3 format. I'm not sure how much of this we're going to be getting in our set 1 or set 1.5 for that matter. So I don't know how long we're going to have to wait to finish the entire build. Also, set 3 hasn't been completely spoiled yet, so there's still a few other blue and or green cards that might be revealed that might actually bring this deck up to another level as well. I did want to build a green version as well and kind of do a head-to-head to see which version was better, because the advantage to the green deck as well is that the green deck does have the ramp option with Argomon in the download route. But the blue deck version I found was just very, very aggressive, and I found it was a lot faster and a lot easier to play, especially for someone who was just learning the game. So I think this is a good deck to start out with, because it doesn't require a lot of huge intricacies in terms of thought and in terms of strategizing. It's just summon, jammer, attack, summon, jammer, attack. And yeah, it's very kind of straightforward. It's the most straightforward deck of the format I think we've seen so far, which I'm very happy about in terms of learning how to play. So that is our Imperialdramon Blue deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep your eye on the channel. We're going to be posting the Shine Greymon deck that this deck went up against in the Learn to Play With Me feature match that we did. I look forward to showing that to you guys. I'm excited for bringing you guys more Digimon content. If you like this deck, please comment and let me know if there's anything you would change. Even if you didn't like the deck, let me know if there's something you'd want to change. If there's anything that you feel that I discussed is wrong, or I'm way out in left field, or if I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, let me know. I'm always interested in hearing your guys' thoughts. I'm always interested in learning more, especially theory-wise when it comes to games like these. And especially since it's so brand new, this is kind of a cool way for us to all get together and discuss theory at a much broader length, which is super exciting. So I'm very excited to continue to play this game. I'm very excited to learn more about it. And if you guys want to see more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll be able to make more content for you soon as we can. So again, this is Mike from Overground. Have a good one.